to Ainwell Missionary Baptist Church, aka The Well. We're about to begin our virtual worship service. We ask that you join in, get your Bibles, your tablets, whatever you need to make this a joyous and worship experience. We're about to begin our service.
Hey, what's up, family? This is Pastor Trey, and welcome back to Life Studies One Talk with Pastor Trey. And so a couple of weeks ago, I shared some excerpts from a conversation I had with my former professor, Dr. Chester Fontenot, who taught me at Mercy University. He also made an impact in my life then as a student, but then also as I started preaching, he also made a sincere impact on my life. He is widely known in my hometown and all around academia for his impact. He was literally the chair for the Africana Studies of Mercy University, made an impact on countless students, just recently retired, and now he's trying to enjoy retirement, but as he has already said, I won't let him retire because we keep putting him to work, all of us. But he's such a gift. He has been a gift to me. I want you to know this is somebody who, as I said prior to, I'm gonna say it again before we restart part 2 of this, he saved my life. If it was not for Dr. Chester Fontenot Ainwell, I would not have made it to you on April 7, 2019. This man was very, very instrumental for me and helping me navigate not only being in the situation I was in 2019, losing my job, but also surviving it up until that point. And so he's been a godsend for me, and I just wanted to expose you to the gift that he is, and just make sure that you all can hear. Listen, I invited him to talk about because he has such a wide range of knowledge. One of those knowledges is understanding the history of our people, African American people here in this country, and just African American people period on this earth. And he also shares some very, very critical things, even by how our literacy rate has dropped since it was illegal for us to learn how to read, and now it's free. And so just how that impacts our political choices and how it impacts how we vote, how it impacts the entire election. And I thought that this would be a great wake-up call for us. And of course, I can preach and share, but it's good to talk to some of the experts. This expert is one that I trust and one that pours into me, and I want him to take this time to pour into you. I'm speaking of my former professor, Dr. Chester Fontenot. He's going to bless us, and so as we join me for part 2 of our discussion for One Talk with Pastor Trey, and I'm just excited to invite him back. So listen, make sure y'all lock in, share this on your social media platforms, share this in family groups, because I really believe the information that we're about to receive from Dr. Chester Fontenot is going to be life-changing and life-altering. Just as a thing, and just right before we jump in, listen, you do know church anniversary is fastly approaching. I want to make sure this is 138th church anniversary. Ainwell opened in the year of 1886. This is 130 years God has kept us. And I've challenged you twice a year to give sacrificially. That's over and above your tithes and offerings. What I'm pushing you to do this year for church anniversary, that's on the first Sunday of December, I'm pushing you to sow a seed of $300. $300, sow a seed of $300 into your church. As you can see, and those of y'all that are in person, perhaps those of y'all that are on Ainwell anywhere, you don't necessarily get to see it in person as much, but I encourage you to. I could take you around, and you've been paying attention to our State of the Church address. You get to see the vast changes that have happened, and the only reason why we've been able to do that is because of your continued giving as well as your sacrificial giving. Okay, so listen, I want to encourage you to join us. We're going to be sowing $300 as a church family to make sure that we continue to ensure that progress and excellence is still exemplified in how we do church here at Ainwell Missionary Baptist Church, a place where we love well, live well, and we lead well. All right, let's go to I want to talk with Pastor Trey. I'll see you when I see you. Peace.
So, but the Divine Nine, the whole purpose of the Divine Nine and the secret societies like the Masons and the Eastern Stars,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right, was to provide leadership for black folks.
Yes, sir.
It was the best of the black folk, of the black community. You know, you could be somebody in order to be a Sigma or a Delta or a AKA, you know, or Q or you know, I don't know about them Kappas. You know, they probably already, you know. Okay, you had to be somebody. You had to be somebody. Okay?
Yes, sir. You're right. Yes, sir.
You couldn't be the drag of the community and be in the Divine Nine. No,
Yes,
no. Okay, you couldn't be a drag in the community and be a Mason, or you
yes,
should stop. Okay,
yes,
that was there was leadership, right? That was the
yes,
leadership of the community, and so you had voter registration, voter drives, you know, leading the charge against racism, you know, against segregation, you know, and all that, and upward mobility, and generating a black professional class. You know, if you wanted to be a lawyer, then the route was through the Kappas. If you wanted to be a doctor, it was the Alphas. You know, you know what I'm saying?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If you want to be an intellectual, you know, and all that, it was the Sigmas. You know, there were a lot of intellectual scholars and everything who were Sigmas, right? That
Yes,
kind
sir.
of. And so it was all in an attempt to organize people into a critical mass to be able to move this whole thing forward for us, right?
Yes, sir.
And move it toward you know, for empowerment, right?
Yes, sir.
And so I'm happy to see you know, the Deltas teaming up with your church.
Yes, sir.
Of course, the AKAs, you can't hardly talk to the AKAs right now because Kamala is
listen, Kamala's AK, yeah. Yeah, and you know, and I definitely want to send a special shout out to State Representative Barbara Drummond. She's actually leading the effort.
Yeah.
With the Delta. She's a Delta, and longtime friends, been friends. You know, she follows our ministry, and so I want to just give a special shout out to her because definitely, she has really been fighting for our people for years, and I'm grateful to be partnering with her as well. And you know, Doc, and you said something that was interesting. That you said that we have to provide an analysis for our people, especially those who just don't know.
Right.
And that was the part of the motivation, you know, when we were talking about this, that I wanted to do, because I really want to speak to, because one of the things that was disheartening for me when it was announced that Kamala Harris would now become the Democratic candidate, and I started seeing messages on social media where our people were saying, I'm not with her, being, you know, trying to be, you know, viral to a certain degree, trying to be the first person to say, be anti, because everybody wants attention these days. And some try to be critical due to some of the African American people that she incarcerated while she was working in California. And what I've seen, Doc, is exactly what you said. And unfortunately, it's not just you know, coming from men, it's coming from women as well, of color. And I really want you to speak to, per se, about to us, because regardless of differences, there is no perfect candidate, just like there's no perfect person. However, she is still a more viable choice.
No question
than
about
the 4 years that we've had.
No question about it.
And so, would you just speak to that for us, Doc?
Well, if you look at Kamala's resume, okay, as opposed to Trump's rap sheet, you know.
Yes, sir.
Look at her work in California, for example. She ran for and won the office of district attorney, you know, in the California, San Francisco area. Right. District attorney's primary job is to prosecute criminals. That's what district attorney does. They prosecute criminals, wherever the criminals are. whether it's folk on the street selling drugs or died killing people, or and all that, or whether it's police who are stepping outside of their line of duty, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Kill people or oppress people or something. That's what a district attorney does, right?
yes, sir.
But while she was district attorney, she didn't just lock people up. She created a pathway for them to be rehabilitated. So she created one of the first programs in the country to take people who had been locked up, felons, et cetera, and move them through a process by which they could become good contributing citizens, right?
Yes, sir.
Get jobs, work their way to full rehabilitation, get those charges, the convictions off their record after a certain period of time. They work their way through that, etc. And she was able to do that. And this is something that, of course, the Republicans are not going to say, right? But because they're not going to give her credit, for that. But in California, people knew about it. In fact, she was known as a prosecutor, the DA with a heart, so to speak, But now at the same time that she's a DA, now we have the 3 strikes law, right? That comes out, right? That's something that DA's hands were almost tied, right? And judges' hands were almost tied, all right? And so we have a bunch of Black folk, guys in particular, who've been serving extraordinarily long sentences for very minor offenses. Like they got a 10 cent, a $10, they were caught with a $10 bag of marijuana. And they got a 15, 20-year sentence for a $10 bag. Well, what they're not telling you is that's the 3rd time that they were arrested for that. And so on the 3rd time, with the 3 strikes law, the judge, the prosecutor, had no choice, because there's a law that was signed into law, and Clinton signed it, right? That said, on the 3rd strike, throw the book at him. So, some of the stuff that she's being accused of, she locked up a bunch of folk and all that. That was the law, right? And that she didn't have much of a fudge room, for that whole thing. But at the same time, she did create programs, right? So that, okay, you're locked up now, but we're going to try to provide a mechanism, an avenue for you to redeem yourself, right? So that we can bring you back into society and you'll be a whole person, able to participate fully in American life, right? And then she runs and becomes the Attorney General for the state of California. Now, anyone who knows anything about California, right, knows California, well, first, it's the most popular state in the nation. Second, it's the most diverse state in the nation. There are all kinds of different, enclaves in California. And running for a statewide office in California, if you can win that, you somebody. Because it's extremely, extremely difficult, in order to do that. So she runs, she wins, and then she continues to work. And but there are a lot of things. Yes, she did lock some people up, but be quite honest with you, and I say this to my people, and then sometimes they don't like it, but I have to tell them the truth. There's some of us need to be locked up.
Tell the truth, Doc.
Hey, some of us need to be locked up now. Just that simple. All right. You got guys running around here, right here in Boonfield. You didn't get that information, I'm sure, but I think it was last night or night before last, they had a drive-by shooting.
Wow.
In broad daylight. They had one in Warner Robins from here. Drive-by shooting. Now, what are you going to do with people, young guys, who get in a car full deep with these high-powered weapons and drive by and just spray the whole area?
The whole area. Yes, sir.
Area, right? Indiscriminately with bullets, right? What are you supposed to do with those people? Tap them on the hand? No, you don't want them on the street. You
No,
see?
sir.
So there are some of us there's some of us being black don't mean that you're good and you're right.
No, sir. And it doesn't make you a victim either.
No, not at all. Not at all.
And what we have to stop doing is playing victim to situations we've created.
Right. Exactly.
And that I wanted you to speak it on, and I knew you would do it in the exact manner that you did, because I'm afraid that some of our uninformed brothers and sisters that look like us are going to see these blurbs, these little, clickbait, all this stuff, and they're going to feed into, well, she loved all these, and has never done any research, has never researched this. This black woman has done some amazing things, and it's very easy to judge it from a distance when you haven't done the homework.
Right.
And so, and again, that's why I wanted to ask you those targeted questions, because again, I knew that you would have had a different perspective. And as you just said, there were things as a prosecutor that she's bound by.
Right.
And the color of her skin doesn't change the law.
Right.
But she did, what I did hear you say, and I really want to reemphasize that, is that even in the fact that her hands were tied, she still created some programming for rehabilitation.
Exactly. To rehab.
Yeah, absolutely.
And primarily to rehab our folks, and especially black males.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And I hear that script. I've been hearing that scripture that this entire time you've been talking to my people perish because of a lack of knowledge.
Right.
And that's what this conversation is really about. Mm-hmm. Is that I wanted to give knowledge. This is too critical. And I want to caution our people from making generalizations about something we have not done our research on.
Right.
It is imperative that we vote with not with our feelings, and not even with fictitious things that we're being fed, because that's the other thing, Doc. And if you don't mind speaking to, we're wrapping up in a little bit. But would you mind speaking to the power that the media has in influencing our perspectives on candidates and politics and how we vote? Could you and just take about 5 minutes or so?
Yeah. Well, the media literally has the power to create opinions, and sell it to people,
Yes, sir.
In the field of advertising, there's an axiom that says people don't know what they want what they know.
Ooh, one more time, Doc. Run that back.
People don't know what they want. They want what they know. Okay. And so here you have media who package information, right? And in these days in particular, we have a lot of opinionated media, right? The media to the right, the media to the left, the media to the center, et cetera. And they're all trying to sell you their perspective, right, on these issues, that kind of thing, right? All that. If a person doesn't go beyond that or deeper than that, then one of two things happens, as far as I'm concerned. One, they become inundated with a particular perspective that's not critical, and they become ideologues, they're watching CNN, or they're watching MSNBC, or they're watching Fox News or whatever, or ABC, news, et cetera. And they become, fixated, on that, and they see nothing else. It's like they have blinders on, right? Mm-hmm. Or if they have a bit more of an open mind and they look at different media sources, they become confused.
Yes, sir.
you know, this station saying this, that station saying that, the other station, which do I believe? You know, I mean, they then we get all these people who are undecided. That's what happened with undecided voters. Right?
Exactly.
They have not investigated. They have not researched. They have not looked at the issue from a critical standpoint, but they have looked at all this and they're confused. They're undecided. They're confused. Right? There was a focus group just, I think it was last week or so, where they had 10 folks, different ages, different races, etc., in this focus group, right? And they started the focus group before the Republican National Convention. They ended it after the Democratic National Convention. They asked the people before the Republican National Convention if they were going to vote, how were they going to vote? And they were all undecided. After the Democratic National Convention, they asked them again. 8 of the people said they were voting for Kamala. They didn't know anything about her before. They watched the convention. They were impressed by her. You know, they thought she's a great candidate, and they're going to vote for her now, right? One person was still undecided. And then one person was going to vote for Trump. Now, and the disheartening thing is the one who said he's going to vote for Trump was a black guy.
Wow.
Okay. So if you don't dig deeper than the TV, Facebook, Instagram, or whatever other, Snapchat, or whatever people are doing, you know, now, right? I only do Facebook. I don't really want people like X now instead of Twitter.
Yeah, right.
Do all that, right? So, but if you don't dig any deeper than that, right, you end up confused. You end up making bad decisions on faulty information.
Yeah.
And so kind of media-driven stuff. Now, I'm not against media, not because I do a lot of stuff with media, as you know, right? But I'm against people just taking what they see coming across the screen or coming on across their phone or something, and that's the gospel. That's the way it is. That's what I saw it on TV. It's got to be the way it is, you know, etc. So, yeah, media has power. I mean, George Orwell in the book 1984 talks about the power of media and how media could just literally change, you know, sell versions of reality to people, and we see it happening, you know.
Yes, sir.
And media is powerful, and in this information age, and this technological age, we're being bombarded with prepackaged opinions, prepackaged information about just about anything. You can go to Google and find information on literally anything. Now, the problem is that, you know, we've done a study of Google, and I didn't do it, but some other researchers did, and found out somewhere about 35% of what's on Google is not correct. It's wrong. So you got people going to Google to find information and not knowing whether or not this is pulled up. For example, I go through my Facebook page once a day to kick off, really, to make sure that people not putting stupid stuff on my page, right?
Right.
At least once a week, I either kick somebody off or I kick, you know, information off that's bad, right? That kind of thing.
Right.
So I'm running across the past year or so, every now and then, and it's becoming even more regular, and you probably have seen it too. So and so's died. Some you know, public figure, right? Actor or politician or, you know, or somebody. Oh, so and so died, you know, and all that kind of thing. Looking at that, going, I don't think this person died, you know. And so I do a little search. No, that person is not dead, you know. And I tell my students this, I tell other folks this, you actually going to believe what you're reading on these kind of pages? I say, anybody with a computer, a cell phone, an iPad, a tablet, or whatever, and an internet connection can post anything that they want, literally, on the internet. And it doesn't have to be true.
No, sir.
But you're looking and you're taking this stuff for truth. So we're in an age where this whole question about the media and the way the media interacts with us, as people, and with the kind of things that the media produces, that is more problematic than it's ever been.
Absolutely.
More
Absolutely.
So now the question is, what do we do about it? That's me. I'm result driven, right? What do we do?
Let's close right there. Yes, sir. What do we do?
Yeah, what do we do about it? Well, we stop believing everything we see and hear. That's number one, right? The old adage, believe half of what you see and none of what you hear.
Yes, sir.
And so, and before you actually believe something, make sure that it has value, right? Check it out. Check it out, right? And even if you don't have the capacity like myself or you to actually do, real research, consult other sources, get on Google or something, and pull up some actual, valuable, sources, right?
Yes, sir.
Why are you going to believe something that John.com put on Facebook? That's a website that they're getting it from, John.com, right? Why aren't you going to New York Times, Washington Post, Chicago Tribune, Miami Herald, or something such as that, Newsweek, Time, something that is viable, viable stuff. That's first thing, make sure that we used to always say when somebody would say something, I was growing up, we'd say, consider the source. Somebody come and tell you this about that person, whatever, consider the source. Okay.
Consider the source, yes.
And then the second thing that we have to do is to become involved in the construction of our own communities, our own future, right? Because the decisions that are being made right now, and it's going to be made on November 5th, when the presidential election occurred, is going to impact all of us for the next 30 years or so. So, understand the significance of the moment, the importance, of the moment. You can't kick the can down the road of history.
No, sir.
You have to, my generation handed it over to your generation. Now your generation is handing the baton over to the younger folks. Right? Now, wait a minute. Now, y'all got to carry this baton. We got to win this race. You see?
Yes, sir.
So, so we have to do that. And the third thing we have to do is become involved. Right?
Yes, sir.
So lose all the nonsense, etc. Realize we have a real and present threat.
Yes, sir.
Literally.
Yes.
Okay. We cannot allow Trump to get back in office. We just can't. We can't. Okay. This guy is dangerous, right?
Yes,
and
sir.
He's already said he gets back in office on day one, he's going to be a dictator. He's already said that. Talking about he's going to tear up the Constitution and start things all over again and all that kind of stuff. This guy is off. Number one, he's off his rocker, right? Number two, he's only thinking about himself. Number three, he's trying to stay out of prison, right?
Right.
And he doesn't care who he has to take with him. We see that there was 102, 103 people already who have gone to prison, lost their law license or whatever, fooling with Trump.
Yes, sir.
And he doesn't care, you say. So we have to become involved, right? We have to become involved. Now, when people see that, they say, they think of somebody who's knocking on doors, somebody doing all this, that, and other thing. It's an easy way to become involved without necessarily doing all that. We call it low-hanging fruit. Okay? Who do you know? Members of your family, right? extended family, friends, folk at the church, folk at the barbershop, etc. Low-hanging fruit. Everybody has a critical mass of people within their orbit, you might say, within their circle, right?
Mm-hmm.
That they can get to easily. You don't need no signs. You don't need any campaign literature to hand out to them. You can talk to them face to face, one-on-one, or in small groups or something like that, right? And so get involved and reach out and touch the people within your group, right? Within your orbit, you might say, and get them, light the fire up under them. Get them to see the danger of the moment, right? And that we just can't have just got Trump back in office, right? And furthermore, and that's not the only reason to vote for Kamala, right? That's a good reason, but that's not the only one. But the reason to vote for her is she is highly qualified.
Yes, sir.
When Biden, the whole question of Biden's age, before he stepped aside, and then that first disaster, and that disastrous debate performance, right, et cetera. And I was talking with some folks about it, and I said, it's time really for Biden. I said, I love Biden. I said, as far as I'm concerned, they could wheel Biden up there on life support. I'd still vote for him, right? But that's not the case. I said, young people going to stay home. A lot of people not going to vote for him. People not going to vote. They just, they see him like almost ready to die, and he needs to step aside, and somebody younger, needs to get in there and say, and people say to me, but who? I looked at him, I said, you do realize we have a vice president, right?
Mm-hmm.
You would not be asking that question if Kamala was a man. You're only asking it because she's a woman, a Black woman. If she was a white man, you would not be asking those questions.
Yeah.
But we have to get over our own, mental chains, so to speak.
Absolutely.
That keep us from moving forward because we have believed the white supremacists, right, who've told us Black women can't do that. Men can't do that. They're not qualified. And it's seeped into us, right? It's seeped into us that no, Black woman, kitchen in the bedroom, raise the kids. How dare she think she could run this country?
Yes, sir.
No, she's already vice president.
Yes, sir.
So we have to get over that, and we have to help our people get over it, and then we have to make sure that people get to the polls, to vote.
Yes, sir.
And get people to understand the significance of voting, the importance and the power in the vote. Right. This is why Black folk ended up in jail. Many died. Right. John Lewis had his skull cracked for the right of Black folk to vote.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Register your vote,
Yes, sir.
With the vote, you can impact it. And you've heard me say this, the critique I have of folks, all the social movements, and we gonna march for this, and we gonna turn out for this, etc. I told my students this and others. I said, all that's well and good, but we wouldn't even have to be doing that if we voted.
If we voted.
If we voted in large numbers, in huge numbers, we would not have the need to have to get out and say, oh no, we're going to protest. You protest because the folks who are in power are not hearing you in any other kind of way. You can't move the envelope any other way. And so you have to create social disruption, social unrest, right? Put pressure on the system, that kind of thing, right? If you vote in large numbers, you don't have to do that. And then I asked him a question. I said, when's the last time you've seen Jewish people out protesting something? They vote.
They vote.
Yes.
I love it, Doc. I love it. I thank you, thank you, man, so much. I knew I was going. I asked 2 questions, Doc. I want you to know that we've been talking an hour, but I knew your passion, number one, and I knew that you certainly. I mean, you may be retired, but you're still very much so teaching us still. And family, I want y'all to hit some hearts for Dr. Chester Fontenot. He now you get to see. And this and listen, I promise you, I only stopped him because we run out of time, but that's not because he's got plenty more in the can. And I definitely want him to get him down here, because it's as articulate, as well versed. He's a Baptist preacher. I can't stress that enough. And he can do it. And so I can't wait to get him down to Mobile, and to see our church and experience us. But well, one more time, let's thank God for Dr. Chester Fontenot for being with us for our life studies moment. And Doc, thank you again, just for giving us just some time out of your I would say busy schedule, but you are retired, so I guess not so busy schedule, right?
Try not to be busy.
Try not to be, but listen, people like me will go keep you working. So
that's right.
Listen, but I thank you so much, Doc, for your time today, and we appreciate you, and look forward to seeing you soon, man. Okay.
All right. Thanks so much. Have a good one.
Okay, family. I'll see y'all when I see you. All right. Peace.